Hey everyone, welcome to Genshin Impact. Today we have a survey. We're going to go ahead and take it and we're going to see how it does. It's a player experience survey. So I recommend doing this because, one, it's a free 30,000 MORA, which, it's still something. It's not a million MORA, but it's still 30,000 for free, which is really nice. I think that's half of a ley line at AR 45. So we're going to go ahead and take the survey and we're going to see what they're talking about. We're going to review some of the questions. We'll go over it. But yeah, if you guys just want to get through this done and do this as fast as you can, you will get a free 30,000, well actually 30,300 Mora. So I highly suggest doing this. Alright, let's get into it. Paimon thinks it's time for a survey. Okay, so it says it's going to take about 2 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and blur this out here. Okay, I'm male. Which of the following characters' weapons do you own? So I do own Albedo. So I'm assuming this is basically just asking if you summoned on the banner, and if you got lucky. Overall, how satisfied are you with the following characters or weapons? Select one for each. I am... So, Albedo. Okay, they're asking us about Albedo. Albedo is probably one of my personal favorite characters. He's very fun to play. His ult is really good. His E is really good. I think he's like one of the most fun characters to play, personally. This is kind of hard. I'd say between somewhat satisfied and very satisfied. He is super fun, but he isn't like an absolute DPS cannon, or he isn't like Badu level. I think Badu is probably the most fun character in the game. I just love having to time the counters and the mechanical skills it takes with her. So that's why I like Badu a lot, but I'm going to say, you know what? They did a pretty good job. Albedo is really good. I'm going to give it very, very satisfied. Okay. How satisfied are you with the following aspects of the character? Okay, here we go. Control/movement. I mean, I'm neutral on that. He feels, well, somewhat satisfied. Because all the characters kind of control/movement feel the same, especially for his height. He has the same controls movements almost as Bennett, I'd assume, because of the same height difference and all that stuff. So I'm satisfied with that. Teamwork ability. Now, his teamwork ability is very satisfying. His E is basically just a support. Okay, here's support ability. Might as well click very satisfied on that one as well. So, honestly, the teamwork ability, the support ability is really good. Now, his damage dealing, I'm going to say his ult can hit hard, but you have to, like, invest a lot into him. Like, unlike Child's ult, where it's just naturally ridiculous. I'm gonna go... Well, the crystallized effect on the E is really, really strong. So this is really a hard one. I'm gonna have to say probably... I'm just gonna say neutral. Because I know some people are not happy with his damage dealing. I've seen some people talking about Albedo in one of a YouTube video I watched, and they were talking about how his ult, isn't the best in the world. Now his art/visual elements, very satisfied. That's really cool. The flower that he gets, the ultimate looks really nice. All of his attacks look really cool. He's just a cool-looking character. Characterization, I'll give it a very satisfied. His character is really, really, really interesting. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the game. He has a different motive than like He's not just a typical hero character. So, it's his motives and stuff. They're all really cool. He's a really, really interesting character, and that's probably what made me summon for him the most. Considering he's also a Geo character, and I don't have many Geo characters because I did not get Zhongli. So, yeah, his characterization is really cool. His teamwork ability is really, really good. His support ability is probably top tier. His damage dealing, I'm going to say neutral. And his art/visual elements are, like, insanely good. Because, I mean, most 5-star arts and visual elements are really cool. Okay, how often do you use the character Albedo, including in the open world domains and Spiral? I often use him. He's always on my Spiral Abyss team, usually on the second team or the first team. Depends on the bonuses and status effects that you get during the specific stages and stuff. But during open world, I sometimes use him whenever I'm just going around killing stuff. Domains, I do use him, especially for the ones that have geo damage bonuses in there. And ones that really could use the crystallized effect to get that shield so I don't die. So I really use Albedo a lot. How often do I use his elemental skill? All the time. That's his E ability. His E ability, I literally prop it down, I think, like every 7 seconds. I'll switch into Albedo. And his cooldown is ridiculous. That's probably one of the reasons why he's one of the most fun characters in the game. and one of the best support characters in the game is because his E's cooldown is the same as Bennett's, which is 4 seconds. So a 4-second cooldown is ridiculously good. His ult spamming ability is ridiculous too. His energy recharge on his ults is very fast as well. But I often use his elemental skill. Okay, here we go. What is your main objective when using elemental skill? Creating DPS environment. Include plunge it. Oh, this is okay. So this is a really nice. I like how they're asking these questions. These questions are really good. Okay, so whenever so this is one of the things is you combo with this. I usually drop his E, and then if his ult is up, I drop his Q immediately. Because when you drop his Q, it stacks on top of the E. If you just drop his Q without having his E down with the flower down, it does just this straight up like damage. But if you have his E down and then you drop his Q, it has a scatter effect where it's kind of like a little mini minefield and it explodes up in their faces. So it's really good. Deal AoE geo damage, of course. Use the crystallized platform to create a DPS environment. No, I use this crystallized platform to make open world exploration easier or more fun. Yes, I do this sometimes when I'm just bored. And I think that is it. Use the crystallized platform to create a DPS environment. So right now there isn't a character who could really use the plunging attacks a lot. Except for Zhao. When Zhao comes out, he will probably use this crystallized platform. It probably would be one of the more fun things to use. Now, he can just spam his jumps by himself. And just spam plunging attacks by himself. But it'd be funnier to jump off of a crystallized platform. And it'd probably look much cooler to have your characters combo into one big plunging attack. But I think I use all of these, so that's nice. Why don't you use a crystallized platform to create a DPS environment? No, creating DPS includes plunging attack, creating a DPS environment for catalyst wielding characters. Well, DPS routing created is somewhat useful, but I don't have the characters to take advantage of it. Well, I don't really. DPS routing is somewhat useful, but it's inconvenient or experience is poor. Isn't much of. I say it isn't much of use. There isn't like plunging attack environment, catalyst wielding characters. I'd say the jumping on the platform and plunging attack. I literally barely use that. So it's not useful to me. I honestly I think this one probably. It isn't. It can be useful for certain characters, but it's inconvenient or the experience is poor. Specify the reason. I'd say the experience isn't poor, but sometimes it can just get in my way, and like sometimes I'll step on the flower and it'll just lift me up in the air when I don't want to be lifted up in the air. So it can get very like annoying. It can be an inconvenience. So I'm gonna go ahead and specify that. Okay, so I specified and I said sometimes the crystallized platform can. I don't know why the text box is so small. It said sometimes the crystallized platform can get in my way, and then when I run over it, not on purpose, it can be very annoying in Spiral Abyss. So basically, like, I don't want to be lifted up in the air, and it lifts me up in the air. So that's why I basically just said. Oh, unanswered your questions. I have a select again. There we go. How satisfied are you with the Albedo story quest? It was good. I don't know. I mean, it was good. It showed you, a bit about Albedo. So, usually the story quests are very, very good. So I have nothing. There's no like really bad story quests that they've released yet. So I'd say it's pretty good. Which statement's best? Okay, here we go. They're asking about resin now. I use all my resin yeah, this is what I do. I also purchase more, usually using Primo Gems. Yeah. I use all my Primo Gems on resin usually. I come online a few times a day and use all my resin. So this is basically just asking where you use your resin and why. And I'm assuming the next question they ask is going to be based on your answer to this one. So make sure you guys answer truthfully. So if you don't use your resin, then answer you don't use your original resin. And say don't use all my original resin and only use it when I need to. Okay. Overall participation, and okay, I participated a lot. I did the entire event and I bought out the entire shop, so I'd say I participated quite a bit. Next question. Excluding the time used for daily commission, let's say best to grab your allocated. I prioritize exploring Dragon Spine, fighting chess mechanisms, completing world quests, etc. before moving on to the event content. I completed event content and explored Dragon Spine at the same time. This is probably going to be everyone's most picked answer, is they completed the events and then it did Dragon Spine, like they were exploring world quests. But I did this first. I actually did all of the puzzles first and most of the world quests and the chess and stuff before moving on to the event content. I was actually, I think, a day behind on the events content, but I did catch up. So that's good, thankfully. When participating in the Chalk Prince and the Dragon event, what was the most important reward type to you? Well, I think Primo Gems, definitely. Character EXP materials, or talent level up materials, and probably weapon or EXP. What was the most important reward to you? Okay, so so this is most important rewards, not like what you want to see in the future. So definitely the Festering Desire Refinement item, because the sword is ridiculously good. That's what was... I picked up this first. Then I picked up the talent books and basically weapon enhancement materials. I got MORA last because you could farm MORA. Talent level up materials, you only could get that from the domains and stuff. Character XP materials, you could farm that off of ley lines. This is, you could do this at any time. You could do MORA at any time. Talent level up, you have to wait daily. Weapon enhancement materials, I think, are really hard to get as well. I'm actually going to switch this to this. So I'll head and get that one. How satisfied are you? I'm very satisfied. I'm not very unsatisfied. I'm very satisfied. The experience was really good. The time gate was decent. It could have been shorter, the time gate. Maybe. I understand why they gave everyone 2 days. But for people who, like me, who literally, like, just spent, as soon as the event dropped, they did that entire day and they bought out the entire shop. For the next, like, day and a half, there's just nothing to do. So, I mean, I get why they put the time gate, because not everyone plays the same game, basically, as the way I play the game. So basically, yeah, I'm just going to say I'm very satisfied. You did not have to use resin. I've already made a video on this, about the event, and how ridiculously good this event is. You didn't have to use any resin to do any of the stuff, which is, you know, amazing. There's no resin required, and it basically it was just a time consumer, just an extra stuff you could do. So, very satisfied. No resin required for rewards, very good. So how satisfied are you with the following aspects of the Chalk Prince and the Dragon event? Like events, story, content. Yeah, it was good. The story was good. I had a lot of fun, you know, but so the sword part of it, you know, having to charge up the sword and having it fall over because the frickin' idiot guy thought it was a fire or some stupid shit happened. That was pretty funny, so very satisfied. Story was good. Albedo's story is also good. It's basically Albedo's, like, second story. Time required to earn the rewards, yes. Well, I'll say I'm somewhat satisfied, because it did take, like, 15 to 16, 17 runs of each part of the event. You have to do that event, like, literally, like, 16, 15 times to buy out the entire shop. Now, obviously, to earn the rewards I wanted everything in the shop, because it's a limited time event. It's never coming back, probably. So, the time required to earn the rewards I wanted, it kind of was time-consuming, and I guess that could be a good thing in some people's eyes. Like, it just gave me something to do rather than just spend the resin and leave. But it can get very, you know, annoying when you're just repeating the same event 15 times in a row. Well, some people don't want to buy out the shop like me, but I do at all times. So I'd say I'm somewhat satisfied. It wasn't, you know, the time required. If it literally took like 5 minutes, I'd say I'm very dissatisfied, because then it's just boring, right? But it's also boring if it goes on for too long. So you got to find that sweet spot in the middle. So they did a good job. So somewhat satisfied. Overall event rewards, yes, very satisfied. The event rewards are really ridiculous. And the clarity of the event rules and prompts, yes, very good. The event, so the last question is whatever. It's basically the rules and the prompts and all that stuff they're talking about. They did good on that. Overall event rewards, as I said in my other video, I'm not going to explain too much on this because I already made like a very long video on the Chalk Prince and the Dragon event, but the overall event rewards are very, very good. You get talent books, you get MORA, you get that Crown of Insight, you get all that crazy stuff. You get the free weapon, Refinement Rank 5. The weapon's really good too, so Event rewards, very satisfied. I wish there was another button that says like event rewards were ridiculously good, because I would be right there and I'd pick that one. How interesting was the gameplay? Okay. Protect the Ruined Brazier and defeat the monster. Follow the ceiling and defeat the monster. Okay, so they know. They put boring. Okay, so for me, this is weird. Follow the ceiling and defeat the monsters. I'd say it was boring. The testing grounds. Protect the Ruined Brazier and defeat the monster. It was boring. The Frostburn, the Crow, it was somewhat interesting. Yeah, it was somewhat interesting. But the fact that we just kept fighting the same guy over and over and over in the same location and the same, you know, boss mechanics, it kind of just got sickening. Especially for me, because I had to fight the boss like 15 times in a row. So it kind of just sucked after a while. So it was somewhat interesting. It wasn't boring as these because it was actually a boss battle with boss mechanics. This other one was just, you followed the ceiling, you killed some enemies, and you did the thing. Testing grounds, you protect the Ruined Brazier and you defeat the monster, you do the things. Right? It's kind of somewhat boring. But this was pretty good because it's kind of like a boss fight. Boss fights are always fun for me. Do you agree with the following statements about the event gameplay? Select one for each. I enhanced Festering Desire. Yes. I knew the attacking enemies after collecting squares. Yes, I knew that. During the Pilgrimage Challenge, following the ceiling and defeat the monsters, I collected Scarlet Quartz. Yes, I did that. During the Frostborn, I collected Scarlet Quartz. Yes, I did that. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why they're asking that. Okay, do you agree with the following statements about the enhancement of Festering Desire? So now they're asking about the sword, which is the Festering Desire. If you don't know about it, I made another video on the Festering Desire. So if you guys want to check that out, the video will be on my YouTube channel. But Festering Desire, as I said, really good sword. I enhanced Festering Desire because I wanted to activate the weapon abilities during the event. Somewhat. Yeah, somewhat. It gave... The bonuses were really good. At the event, I will still use Festering Desire. Yes. I thought the attributes and effects on Festering... Yes. So basically, I just thought the sword looked good. Yes. At the event, I will continue to enhance Festering Desire. Yes. How do you feel about the difficulty level of the gameplay? If you're gonna Pilgrimage, don't let Cheer Cold. That was very easy. Testing grounds, protect the Ruined Brazier from being destroyed. Very easy. Land 10 attacks using Scarlet Quartz. Very easy. Defeat the within 300 seconds at your world level. That was... I did that first try. I'd say it's somewhat easy because some people might have some difficulty with it. But I think the entire challenges and stuff, they were just kind of... They were super easy. Which modes did you do the Frostborn Miracle Challenge in? I only did it in single player and never did in co-op. Which kind of device do you usually use to experience? Definitely PC. Do you have any other suggestions or thoughts you'd like to share with us? Please let know. Thank you very much for your support, Traveler. Alright, so this is going to be the end of the survey. So thank you everyone for watching. So if you want to fill this out, you'll get a free 30,000 more. So don't forget to fill this out because they really do care about our feedback. It's actually one of the few games where they are asking us surveys like almost every month. So I do highly suggest doing this. As in one, I said you get free MORA. Who doesn't like free MORA? And it also really helps MiHoYo make a better game for us to enjoy. So if you do really care about this game, then I suggest doing this. Thank you everyone for watching. 95% of my viewers are actually not subscribed, so if you enjoyed watching the video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It's free. You can unsubscribe at any time you want. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.